Okay, we are at the little apocalypse. Now, why is it called the little apocalypse? At the end of the New Testament, the last book is the apocalypse of Jesus Christ. Now, a lot of us, we call it the book of Revelation. How many chapters does Revelation have? It's got 22, so that's the big apocalypse. Now, in the Christian tradition, we've got some of that apocalyptic literature in our Gospels. And they are found in the first three, the synoptic ones. In Matthew, it's 24 and 25. Mark is chapter 13, and Luke is 21. Now, notice that the first one in Matthew, the chapter 24, repeats a lot of what Mark 13 says, and in Luke 21 basically says the same thing. So if we put all this together into one book, we're only dealing with 2 chapters. So this is small compared to the book of Revelation, which is the big apocalypse. That's why this is called the little apocalypse. We are also going to be talking about common interpretations. There's 4 of them. The first one is preterism. The second one is historical. The third one is future. These 3 have to deal with time itself, but they're different time frames. The final one is philosophical. Now, the first 3 is dealing with time. The fourth one will be timeless. Let's go ahead and check out the gospel traditions more significantly. I'm following through the Gospel of Matthew, and that's why it's under the Matthew heading. There's 6 stories here, and we see that it starts in chapter 24, verse 1, the destruction of the temple foretold. And notice in Mark, it's chapter 13, verse 1. And then the last column, Luke, chapter 21. That's right, but it starts with verse 5. It's because the first 4 verses of Luke 21 is not part of our apocalyptic literature. Okay, now there's the destruction of the temple foretold, signs of the end of the age, persecution foretold, the desolating sacrilege, the coming of the Son of Man, and the lesson of the fig tree. All these apocalypses in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they follow that pattern. Notice how when you look at the verses, it's just one right after the other. But that's not it. Matthew has a lot more. Well, look at that, the necessity of watchfulness. Notice how it is not bold, but it is italicized. Okay, we see Mark, it follows right along after verse 31. It starts at verse 32 and goes on to 37. Now here is where the apocalypse in Mark ends, because the chapter ends itself. But notice in Luke it's green. Why is it green? Notice it's in Luke chapter 17, not 21 like all the others before it. That's because Luke puts the necessity of watchfulness, somewhere else. He does not put it in with his apocalypse portion of his gospel. Let's check out the next one, the faithful, unfaithful slave. That parable is not found in Mark, and that's why the X's. And look at Luke. Again, it's green. Luke chapter 12 is where the faithful and unfaithful slave is found. Then we have the parable of the 10 virgins. We don't find this in Mark, and we don't find it in Luke. This is unique only to Matthew. Then we have the parable of the talents. Now this is the one that we will be discussing today. Not found in Mark, but it is found in Luke. But again, it is outside the little apocalypse portion of Luke. And then ends the deal for Matthew, the judgment of the nations. It's not found in Mark, it's not found in Luke. Now, Luke does have something that Matthew and Mark does not have, and that is the exhortation to watch. Notice under St. Luke 21, it's found in 21 verse 34. Now, if you go back to the lesson of the fig tree, Luke 21 verses 29 through 33. This one starts in 34, the exhortation to watch. And that ends Luke 21. Okay, so we're going to collapse all that. And now we're going to look closely into the common interpretations. What is preterism? Preterisms are prophecies that describe events occurring at the moment or immediately thereafter. Preterism basically says that to prophesy something into the far distant future is, well, it's a bit unusual, and it may not be possible. So preterism speaks about things that is going on at that moment, within that short time frame. Okay, the historical prophecies that describe events occurring within a particular age, such as the church age. It's kind of like reading history forwards instead of backwards into the past. We're looking forward into the future. Which brings us to the future. Prophecies that describe events not yet occurring. And then the philosophical are prophecies that describe reality in a mythological sense, kind of like a parable. For the purpose of this video, we will be combining the philosophical with the preterist. It really does go really well with the parables of the talents, as will be shown.